last minute to say good morning to everybody, and then we will be stopping.
Good morning, sir.
Go ahead.
So are we there? And you see, it is a fantastic thing that we are there, and we start today's. Okay, let me see. There is one thing. Friend, there was some technical problem, and every day we are facing some one or the other issues in the technical problem. And I would be, what I would be doing is I would be opening the mic of our Rajesh ji, your mic is open. Are you able to hear to me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now it is clear?
Yes.
Okay. So, friends, good morning, and we will start our today's session. It is a session which is very interesting. Income from other sources on income tax, and the speaker is Mrs. Jamna Shukla, chartered accountant from Varanasi, and we have a star-studded chairman, Dr. Ashok Saraf, senior advocate, immediate past national president, All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, as today's session chairman. It is really wonderful to have you here again every morning, and this morning is special as we are having a gathering very fast. We are having you all together, and it is start of the day of the week also. It is a Monday. Sometimes we forget in this lockdown time that whether it is a Saturday, Sunday or Monday. So friends, with these words, I would not take much of your time. First, I would request our Rajesh Mehta, National Vice President, Central Zone, to speak few words. Rajesh ji, you are live.
Yes. I hereby welcome you all, and especially today's session chairman, Dr. Ashok Saraf, senior advocate, our immediate past president, and today's speaker, CA Jamna Shukla. And I hereby welcome Samir Jani ji, Hemant Modi ji, PK Das Saab, and Rajesh Joshi ji, Vijay Navlakha ji, and all other my colleagues in the AFTP and all the participants. I hereby welcome. And today's topic is very interesting because many of the additions have been made during last 4 years under the head income from other sources, and which were covered under section 115 BBE also. So I hereby welcome you all in today's interesting topic. So now I hand over the mic to Pankaj Ghiaji.
I would now request our Central Zone Chairman, Mr. Vinay Jolly, to please speak few words.
अति सम्माननीय आज के वेबिनार के चेयरमैन डॉक्टर अशोक सराफ, सीनियर एडवोकेट एवं डायनामिक इमीडिएट पास्ट प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ एएफटीपी, सम्माननीय वक्ता आज के वेबिनार की चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट श्रीमती जमुना शुक्ला फ्रॉम वाराणसी, सम्माननीय कार्यकारिणी एवं अधिकारीगण समस्त जोन एवं राष्ट्रीय एएफटीपी, वरिष्ठ सदस्य एवं प्रोफेशनल साथीगण, नमस्कार। मैं आज सेंट्रल जोन की 14वीं वेबिनार में आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं। हमारे आज के चेयरमैन, ग्रेट पर्सनैलिटी, डायनामिक इमीडिएट पास्ट प्रेसिडेंट डॉक्टर अशोक सराफ, सीनियर एडवोकेट का अपनी ओर से व जोन की ओर से स्वागत करता हूं एवं आभार प्रकट करता हूं कि उन्होंने हमारी प्रार्थना आज का वेबिनार चेयर करने की स्वीकृति प्रदान की, एवं आज हमारा सौभाग्य है कि वो आज हमारे बीच में चेयरमैन के रूप में उपस्थित है। मैं आज के सम्माननीय वक्ता चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट श्रीमती जमुना शुक्ला वाराणसी का भी स्वागत करता हूं और आभार प्रकट करता हूं कि उन्होंने आज के वेबिनार में बतौर स्पीकर के अपनी स्वीकृति प्रदान की। मैं आज उपस्थित राष्ट्रीय एवं सभी जोन के कार्यकारिणी सदस्य एवं अधिकारीगण का स्वागत करता हूं एवं आभार प्रकट करता हूं। मैं अपने सभी सीनियर सदस्यों का स्वागत करता हूं एवं आभार प्रकट करता हूं कि वो हमें जोन की कार्यशैली के संबंध में समय समय पर सुझाव एवं मार्गदर्शन देते रहते हैं, जिसके फलस्वरूप जोन का कार्य करने में हमें सहूलियत प्रदान होती है। मैं सेंट्रल जोन की पूरी कार्यकारिणी का आभार प्रकट करता हूं, जिन्होंने इस वेबिनार सीरीज को सफल बनाने में योगदान दिया है। अंत में मैं देश के सभी भागों से उपस्थित पार्टिसिपेंट्स का भी स्वागत करता हूं और आभार प्रकट करता हूं कि उन्होंने इतनी बड़ी संख्या में वेबिनार में भाग लेकर हमें उत्साहित किया और अनुग्रहित किया। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत। पंकज जी।
धन्यवाद विनय जी। It was fantastic to hear from you time and again, and it is your versatility. Now we have a dynamic personality between us, the Secretary General of AIFTP, Mr. Sameer Jani from Junagadh. A good friend, and a friend who is always smiling, a friend who is affable, a friend who is there every time when you need. And today he is joining us every day. You know, he is the one person of the national team who is every day present in this Central Zone seminar. And I welcome Sameer Bhai to this webinar by the Central Zone and request him to say a few words as the Secretary General of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners and also a good friend of all of us. Sameer Bhai.
Thank you, Pankaj Bhai. Well, at the outset, I thank AIFTP Central Zone for activating this webinar wave. The source of inspiration being Pankaj Bhai Ghia, a very good friend of mine. He has been activating, he was the Secretary General in past. He has activated AIFTP to a great level. And I share with all of you that it is because of him that the members of AIFTP at present under the COVID-19 situation are at least relieved from 10 to 1 o'clock for the day. I am thankful and I am thankful to him for giving me this opportunity. I also request Shri Ashok Saraf sir to say after I complete my talk to say something on the subject and Pankaj Bhai. But I'm grateful to him also for participating. Ashok Saraf has been the pillar of AIFTP. Everybody associated to AIFTP knows that last year was an absolute eventful year. I thank Ashok Saraf for his contribution to AIFTP. Lastly, the speaker, C.A. Jamuna Shukla, intelligent, competent, efficient, marvelous lady from Varanasi. She'll be delivering a talk on other sources. It was nice to hear that part also. Hopefully, she would deal with 115 BBE in case of other income also. And those who are associated with her as a Facebook friend know her other efficiencies also. So I thank once again Central Zone, Vinay Kumar Jolly, Rajesh Mehta ji, Pankaj Ghia for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much, all participants.
Thank you. The Secretary of the Central Zone, Sandeep Agarwal.
Good morning, all of you. I am welcome our today's session chairman, Shri Saraf sir, Ashok Saraf sir, immediate national president of AIFTP. Our today's speaker, CA Srimati Jamuna Shukla ma'am from Varanasi. I welcome you. I welcome all executive members of national here, all office bearers of other zones. I am thankful to you all for joining us regularly. Keep joining. I am updating you one thing. Today we are online on YouTube also. YouTube link will be shared in chat box. You can join us on YouTube also. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandeep. I would request all of you not to please share the screen. Request everybody, please do not share the screen. Friends, We will be starting the webinar right at 10 o'clock. Good morning, everybody, and good morning, India. We are joined from east, west, north, south, central. And we have a dynamic personality, our own Dr. Ashok Saraf, a friend of friends, a friend indeed. Every time you need anything, you want help in any technical matter, you want any consultation, you want any advice, whether professional or personal, Dr. Ashok Saraf is there with you. He's a man of dynamic vision. He's a man who is leading from the front, always a punctual man, always a man of the rules and regulations, a constitutional expert, and he is called as the taxman of Northeast. He is a wizard in himself, one of the youngest senior advocate in the history of India. He was designated as senior advocate, I think, at the young age of 35 years. And since then, he is practicing on the tax and contractual and other matters before the all high courts of the Northeast and also in the Supreme Court. A man who has a list of reported judgments wherein he has taken the cases, argued the cases, and won the cases for the client on impossible issues. I don't have time, and we all want to listen to Dr. Ashok Saraf. So let's go directly to him. And sir, I welcome you personally. I welcome you all on behalf of all the professional brothers of India, all the tax fraternity of India. And you are not the taxman of Northeast. You are a taxman of India. You are a jewel of AFTP. And with these words, I welcome Dr. Ashok Saraf and ask him to continue with his chairman remarks. Dr. Ashok Saraf.
Yes. Good morning, friends. Good morning, Mr. Giaji, Mr. Jolie, Mr. Rajesh Mehta, Mr. Samir Jani, today's speaker, Mr. CA Jamna Shukla, and all my fellow friends of the AFTP. In fact, I'm grateful to the Central Zone, more particularly Mr. Giaji, for giving me this opportunity to meet you all in today's webinar. In fact, the Federation during this lockdown period is doing a wonderful job by organizing regularly the webinar, and more particularly the Central Zone under the leadership of Mr. Pankaj Ghia. Mr. Pankaj Ghia, in fact, for the last 3 weeks or so, is continuously organizing the webinars on different subjects.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Sir, is there any TV going on at any of the backgrounds?
No, not in my. Yes.
Okay. Yes, sir. Continue. Sorry.
In fact, Mr. Pankaj Ghia, while selecting the subjects, he has selected the subjects not only on the GST income tax, but on all the allied subjects. Personally, I can say that I myself was not aware on the intricacies of the various subjects, because since I practice in the High Court and about the intricacies of the various provisions of the income tax, GST, and all those things, I got a very good opportunity through this webinar to learn a lot about the various intricacies of the provisions of the income tax and the GST. The subjects have been wonderful, the speakers have been wonderful, and as above all, the participants who at the dot on time, there are about sometimes 1,000 also the participants are there. Today's speaker, CA Jamna Shukla, she is well versed with the income tax law, very good, deep knowledge about the tax provisions, a very good speaker, and apart from that, a very good social worker. In fact, I will also like to hear the speech of Jamna Shukla in order to learn from the speaker about the provisions of the income tax law, the income from other sources. In fact, today, something which came to my mind, in fact, I want to share with all my fellow members. I was hearing all the webinars, the speeches of the speakers, but I found that all the speakers are, in fact, dealing with the subject or the provisions as they exist as on today. And they are interpreting the provisions on the basis of the law, which was existing, in fact, 3 or 4 months back. Friends, during the last 2 months or 3 months, the Supreme Court has diluted the principles of the statutory income tax interpretation taxing statutes to a large extent. the principles of that we used to follow, that the strict interpretation of the taxing statute, that whatever is stated in the words that is to be read in, and the legislative intention is to be gathered from the words used in the statute, have been given a go by. If you go through the judgments of the Supreme Court in the last 2 or 3 months, you will find that the Supreme Court is finding ways and means to find out and say that in order to give the effect to the legislative intention of in making the provision, the Supreme Court can tinker with the language of the provisions of the statute if necessary. The equity, there is no equity in taxation, that has also been diluted. Now, if we interpret the present provisions keeping in view the law which has been let down and diluted by the Supreme Court, then we must see that what is going to happen in future. In fact, according to me, apart from the judgments of the income tax and the GST, we must also look into some of the important judgments which have been delivered by the Supreme Court in the recent past, in the last 4 or 5 days back also, while dealing with the promissory estoppel. The Supreme Court has in fact, the promissory estoppel principle, according to me now, last 2 judgments of the Supreme Court, it has become a toothless. There will be no promissory estoppel, nothing. The government will have the power to change, to decide from the premises on one ground or other. The public interest has been given a very wider meaning. Even the Supreme Court has said that if the government comes up with a stand that the provision of exemption or any beneficial provision have been misused or are being misused by some of the SSCs, then that can be either reduced, curtailed, or withdrawn, and that will have a retrospective effect, being clarificatory in nature. Such type of the judgments which are coming will have a far-reaching effect in the coming time. Friend, you must know that the country is passing through a great economic crisis. Already the 2 years, or 1 year, 2 years, there was a great economic crisis, and in the last 2 or 3 months, because of lockdown, there is a lot of difficulty. We all are saying to the government that this exemption should be granted and that exemption should be granted. This relief should be granted and that relief should be granted. Friends, kindly note that whatever relief or whatever exemptions or whatever benefits are being given by the government today are going to be recovered in future from the SSC itself. The way the judgments are coming from the apex court gives a trend that the Supreme Court is not in a mood to give relief to anyone by taking the provisions that the provisions are unambiguous. The earlier thinking that when there is ambiguity or 2 interpretations are possible, the one which should go in favor of the SSC, in fact, in my view, in view of the recent trend of the judgment of the apex court, will no longer survive. The apex court is taking the interpretation, they're taking the view that this is the only interpretation and this is the interpretation, there is no ambiguity. We must now prepare ourselves to face the future in view of the current law which is being laid down by the apex court. Secondly, we must take a view on the basis of the law which is exists and don't go by a single judgment which is rendered by one of the high court and say that that is the law. Recently, I come across a number of judgments of some of the high courts on one issue or other, and we may proceed on the basis of that judgment that is the law. But in my view, that will not be correct approach for the tax professionals, because till that judgment is approved by the apex court, according to me, even if some relief has been granted by one of the high court, and if you feel that as per the provisions of the act, the things is different, my advice to the tax professionals would be that they should give the advice as per they understand by the provisions and not to go by 1 or 2 judgments of the high courts till the same is approved by the Supreme Court. Many of the SSCs have acted on the basis of 1 or 2 judgments of the high court, and ultimately they have found that their judgment is either reversed or the judgment Supreme Court has taken a contrary view. Secondly, my one more view is that, because today the subject, I'm not going to speak on the subject because I myself want to hear from the learned speaker, C.A. Jamna Shukla, that what is the view. But my only one objective is that we are organizing the webinars and all participants are there, all discussions are there, everything is there. But after the webinar is over, every participant should look into the provisions once again by himself and see that what was the provisions and what was the discussions made in the webinar, and thereafter to take their own view. Any speaker, any chairman, anybody speaks or gives his views in the webinar, that should not be taken to be the final and gospel truth. Please, after the seminar, after the webinar is over, go through the provisions and hear the speech which has been given by a particular speaker, and thereafter have your own opinion and own view. And that will give you a further opportunity to learn and further opportunity to examine the provisions of the Act deeply, because the time is coming when earlier you were saying that the tax evasion is not permissible. I can say, friends, now the time is coming where tax avoidance will also not be permissible. So don't try to find out loophole holes in the provisions and take advantage of the ambiguity of the provisions, and that will not be permissible in the coming times. And the Supreme Court in coming times will be very strict and will not allow any person taking advantage of any loopholes, because Supreme Court has said that if the language is not clear, or in order to give the effect to the legislative intention, if necessary, the language of the statute can be tinkered with. Friends, I'm not going to, because I am the only chairman, and the chairman job is only to, in fact, I have spoken too much. This was not expected of me. But since I was hearing the webinars for the last 2 weeks or so, something which came my mind, I just expressed the same before my friends. And I'm really grateful to Mr. Pankaj Ghia for, in fact, it is on his pressure that, and I cannot say to him, no to him, to Mr. Pankaj Ghia, whenever he makes any request to me, and he has spoken so much about me that I myself has to, after the webinar, to think of that whether whatever has been said by Mr. Pankaj Ghia is correct or not. But in any way, I am grateful to all, and I am really very much enthusiastic to hear C.A. Jamna Shukla on the subject, and I am sure that after the hearing C.A. Jamna Shukla, my knowledge about the income from other sources shall also be improved a lot. One question which I would like to ask Ms. Jamna Shukla, that if somebody has embezzled the amount from any account and a person files a money suit against the said person for recovery of the said amount, and the case is pending before the trial court, that whether during the pendency of the case before the trial court for recovery of the said amount, whether the said amount can be treated to be income from other sources or not. Because if it is treated to be income from other sources in a particular year, and after 5 years, the person loses the case in the trial court, and the said amount is directed to be returned, what will be the consequences and effect of that order of the trial court? I think this issue may be dealt with by the speaker, that whether embezzlement of an account by a person, whether that can be said to be income from business or from income from regular activities, and whether that can be treated as income from other sources. Once again, I'm grateful to all the organizers, the AFTP, and the other participants who has heard me patiently, and I will hand over the mic to the host, Mr. Pankaj Ghia, for further deliberations. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. It was again a privilege to hear Dr. Ashok Saraf, a luminary, a legend in himself, and a friend of friends, I always say. Friends, today there are many new things. The first, we have a lady speaker in the webinar series. I think this is one of the first for India. So we should give it a hearty clapping. Second, we have again crossed 600. Again, an acknowledgement of your participation of all of you. Because of you all, from east, west, north, south, central, this webinar series is successful hitting 600 daily nowadays. And because of your participation, it is such a huge success. Third, we are live on YouTube today. So YouTube link has been shared in the chat box along with our WhatsApp group, webinar group. We are live on YouTube, and from today, each webinar will continue to be live on YouTube also daily along with the Zoom app. Now, taking not much of your time, I would be going directly to Mrs. Jamuna Shukla, our star speaker of today. I can say Mrs. Jamuna Shukla is one of the fantastic speaker, a prolific speaker, and it is really amazing to see that how can she take a topic and make it more interesting in income from other sources. Friends, it is such a topic that though it is working day to day, it is coming into our life day to day, but sometimes we want that it is not very interesting. Let's see how interesting it is and how many complications and intricacies are there. Mrs. Jamuna Shukla is the leading chartered accountant from Varanasi. She is the wife of our dear friend Shri O.P. Shukla, advocate. She is the mother of a daughter who is already a doctor and who has been fighting COVID patients in Delhi. She is a versatile lady, a prolific speaker, and I had been privileged to go to their house and have shared the hospitality. They are a wonderful couple. She is a wonderful, I can say, not as a professional, but as a friend. She is a great lady, very hospitable. And I welcome you, Mrs. Jamuna Shukla, on behalf of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, and ask you directly to start your deliberations. Mrs. Jamuna Shukla.
Thank you, Ghiya-ji, for your kind words. Actually, I don't think I am so. Your high appreciations. Wait a minute.
Yeah, you are on the
Is
screen.
Yeah, I'm there. Okay. So, hello friends. This is CA Jamuna Shukla from Varanasi. I hope that you all must be staying home and staying safe. Friends, it's my pleasure and proud to be part of this webinar, and for this I am highly thankful to Ghiya-ji and his team. And also it's a great honor for all of us that today's session chairman is Dr. Ashok Saraf-ji, past president AIFTP. I can only say for him that he is a man of substance, and very well narrated by Ghiya-ji that he is a taxman also. So, sir, thank you so much that you are here gracing this event. And I hope that we will be benefited by your expertise in knowledge again. So, friends, not taking much time, I would like to start my topic, income from other source. Friends, it is income from other source. It is covered under 4 sections. Section 56, Section 57, Section 58, Section 59 of Income Tax Act. कहने को तो सर इसमें 4 ही ये सेक्शन है, एंड ये सेक्शंस हैं क्या? 56 deals with the charging section and 57 deals with the deductions permissible under this Act. Section 58 says what is not permissible as deduction, and Section 59, here some incomes are taxable under this Act, read with Section 41(1) of business income, that is profit and gain income. So again, coming to section, this charging section 56(1), again it is divided in 2 subsections, 56(1) and 56(2). Now what is section 56(1)? It says that if any income head, if it is not taxable under other 4 heads, then it will be taxable in this head. And also it shall not be a exempt income. Then only it will come to under this head. Some examples I have taken here: income from subletting, interest on bank deposits and loan, very litigative area. I will take some case law on this. Income from royalty, director's fees, ground rent, agricultural income from outside India, family pension, salaries to payable to member of parliaments, etc. It is all mentioned in my PPT, friends. You can refer. As I told, I would like to take one case law in this case to understand it better, that how it is so litigative. It is mentioned in a case of Bihar State Cooperative Bank Limited versus CIT 1960 39 ITR 114 Supreme Court. Here, Revenue Department insisted on taxing the interest earned by bank on non-SLR funds under the head income from other sources, whereas SSC had claimed it as its business income. The decision came in favor of revenue till Honorable High Court judgments, but ultimately Honorable Supreme Court gave decision in favor of SSC. That is, it was allowed as business income. Friends, why I wanted to refer this? Once you will open this case study, then you will find department has dragged almost all cooperative bank in that time in this section. Like, what is the झगड़ा over here? कि डिपार्टमेंट तो यही चाहता है कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा जो हमारी इंटरेस्ट इनकम है वो टैक्सेबल हो इनकम फ्रॉम अदर सोर्स में. उनका यही थ्रेस्ट रहता है, बिकॉज इनकम फ्रॉम अदर सोर्स में वी आर नॉट परमिसेबल दैट मच डिडक्शन, सो दे हैव मोर स्कोप ऑफ टैक्सेबिलिटी. और ऑल्सो इसमें सेट ऑफ नहीं मिलता है हमें इनकम फ्रॉम अदर सोर्स में. तो हर तरीके से डिपार्टमेंट को रेवेन्यू को ज्यादा इसमें स्कोप दिखता है, तो वो ये एरिया बहुत टच करते हैं. तो इसमें हुआ क्या कि जब आप खोलेंगे तो उस समय सारे इन्होंने ऑलमोस्ट सारे कोऑपरेटिव बैंक को इसमें खींचा था, एंड दे वॉन आल्सो टिल हाई कोर्ट. लेकिन बाद में ये सारे केस का एक विराम मिला जब ये केस सामने आया बिहार स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव बैंक लिमिटेड का. इसमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अल्टीमेटली हमारे एसएससी के फेवर में जजमेंट दिया. तो फ्रेंड्स, हमको इस तरह से केस लॉज को देख के कैसे हमें किस हेड्स में ले जाना है ये ध्यान देना होगा. ऑल्दो देयर आर मेनी केसेस विच आर इन फेवर ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट, बट दे आर इन द नॉन बैंकिंग केसेस. So again, now moving to another section 56(2). This section 56(2) specifically specifies that certain heads of income will be always taxable under this. मतलब ये हेड्स जो मैं अभी फास्ट बोल रही हूँ ये हमेशा इसी में टैक्सेबल होंगे. दैट इज डिविडेंड इनकम, विनिंग फ्रॉम लॉटरीज, interest on securities, income from letting out of machinery, plant or furniture, share premium in excess of fair market value, interest on compensation, forfeiture of advance received for transfer, gift of money, property or property acquired for inadequate consideration. ये कुछ लिस्ट है, इसको एक एक करके हम बारी बारी से लेते जा रहे हैं. डिविडेंड इनकम कैसे, क्या है इसके प्रेजेंट प्रोविजंस और क्या प्रपोज अमेंडमेंट आए हैं, क्योंकि इस बार जो फाइनेंस बिल 2020 है इसमें मेजर चेंज इसी एरिया में आया है. तो इसको हम डिस्कस करते हैं. व्हाट इज डिविडेंड? इट इज शेयर ऑफ प्रॉफिट पेड टू शेयर होल्डर्स. It can be interim dividend. Dividend includes interim dividend and also deemed dividend. Now, what is this deemed dividend? Very important to understand for all of us. By virtue of section 222, the following payments or distribution by a company to its shareholders are deemed as dividend to the extent of accumulated profits of the company only. And what are those situations? Any distribution entailing the release of company's assets, section 222A. Release of assets कब हो सकता है? जब कंपनी ने किसी शेयर होल्डर को मान लीजिए कोई फ्लैट दिया है या बिल्डिंग का कोई प्लॉट दिया है, ऐसी केसेस इसमें आ सकती हैं. Any distribution of debenture stock, deposit certificates and bonus to preference shareholders, section 222B. ये एज सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी है. और डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑन लिक्विडेशन ऑफ कंपनी, सेक्शन 222C. डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑन रिडक्शन ऑफ कैपिटल, सेक्शन 222D. एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट इज सेक्शन 222E, मोस्ट लिटिगेटिव. फ्रेंड्स, इसको हमें थोड़ा सा ध्यान देना होगा. What is said? Any payment by way of advance or loan by a closely held company to the following. Closely held means almost सारे प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनीज एंड अनलिस्टेड कंपनीज को ये अप्लाई होती हैं। और हम सब के पास प्राइवेट लिमिटेड की तो बहुत ही फाइल है, एटलीस्ट आप लोग तो जयपुरियन एंड मेट्रो सिटीज में पब्लिक लिमिटेड होंगे ज्यादा, पर प्राइवेट लिमिटेड तो सभी के पास है। व्हेन इट इज अट्रैक्टेड, if any payment as loan or advance is made to a shareholder being a person who is beneficial owner of equity shares holding not less than 10% of voting power, and any concern in which such shareholder is a member or a partner in which he has substantial interest. Here, concern means HUF, firm, an AOP or body of individual or a company. ये सब में अगर ऐसे शेयर होल्डर जिसका वोटिंग पावर 10% है, if he has 20% or more voting power in this concern, then also if payment meant to such concern, it will be treated as deemed dividend. Point to be noted over here is accumulated profit is commercial profit and not assessed income. और भी क्या देखना है कि वेदर यहाँ पे क्यों इतने लिटिगेशंस, मैंने कुछ केस लॉज ऊपर मेंशन किए हैं, इतना हैवी लिटिगेशन है, कारण ये है कि वेदर लोन और एडवांस इज गिवन ऑन इंटरेस्ट और नॉट डज नॉट इफेक्ट एप्लीकेबिलिटी ऑफ सेक्शन 222E. प्लस even though advance is repaid after 1 day, it will be treated as deemed dividend. So friend, you can understand, हम लोग तो बैलेंस शीट डेट पे सारे ट्रांजेक्शन देखते हैं, अरे नहीं है एडवांस, चलो कोई नहीं, पर नहीं चलेगा अगर ड्यूरिंग द ईयर इफ एनी सच एडवांस इज मेड आउट during the course of business even for a 1 day, then also this section will be attracted and deemed dividend will be taxable in the hands of recipient. And many litigations are there. I have mentioned here some very famous case laws, Tarulata Sham and others versus CIT, SC 108 ITR 345, Sarda versus CIT. ये सब केस में क्या हुआ है, लिटिगेशन ये छोटी छोटी चीजों को लेके है कि एक ही दिन के लिए है, हमने तो इंटरेस्ट भी नहीं लिया, ये पर सारे के सारे गए हैं इन फेवर ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट. Assessee had to bear the tax liability. So we have to be very careful. पहले तो ये था कि ये सब पे कंपनी DDT डिविडेंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन टैक्स डिडक्ट करती थी, तो रेसिपिएंट के हाथ में टैक्स फ्री था, पर अब हमको बहुत केयरफुल रहने की जरूरत है ये सब केसेस में. Now, what is the taxability under present provision of dividend? Dividend received from domestic companies shall exempt from tax. One sec, friends. तो प्रेजेंट प्रोविजन क्या है टैक्सेबिलिटी ऑफ डिविडेंड के? Dividend received from domestic company shall be exempt from tax under section 1034 if it is chargeable to dividend distribution tax, जो कि हो ही रहा है, that's why it is tax free. However, with effect from assessment year 2017-18 as per section 115 BBDA, if a resident individual HUF or firm receives other than section 222E, यहाँ पे अभी present provision में 222E वाले को नहीं शामिल किया गया है, shall be chargeable to tax at the rate of 10% of aggregate amount of dividend by a specified assessee only during the year if it exceeds rupees 10 lakh. What is this specified assessee? It means any person resident in India only, a domestic company, a fund or institution or trust, university, educational institution referred under section 23C of section 10, a trust or institution registered under section 12A or section 12AA. So they are not coming under this. और ये सेक्शन 222E को इसमें इसलिए शामिल नहीं किया गया है कि इसका टैक्स रेट थोड़ा सा हैवी है, कंपनी जो डीडीटी काटती हैं इस पे या पे करती हैं, इसलिए इसको इससे अलग रखा गया है और इनको ये एग्जेम्पशन अलाउ नहीं होता है. However, through finance bill, what is now proposed amendment, friends? थ्रू फाइनेंस बिल 2020 अब जो हमारी टैक्स पोजीशन होगी डिविडेंड के लिए, द डिविडेंड इनकम विल बी टैक्सेबल इन द हैंड्स ऑफ रिसीवर बाय रिव्यूइंग सेक्शन 1034. The bill announces that dividend distributed by company will no longer be subject to DDT under section 115(o) if dividend distributed on or after 1st April 2020. Assessee is no longer required to pay tax under section 115 BBDA, where tax is to be paid at the rate of 10% on dividend exceeding rupees 10 lakhs. ये भी हट गया. That dividend distributed by domestic company will no longer be exempt in the hands of recipient under section 1034. DDT हटा तो सीधी बात है exemption भी 1034 का जो हम सबको मिलता था डिविडेंड इनकम पे वो हट गया है. Hence, now all kinds of dividend, deemed dividend, will be taxable in the hands of recipient. But however, now company will deduct tax at the rate of 10% under section 194, and threshold limit is for this rupees 5,000. We can say it is very lower amount, yet again continuing from since ages that should have been increased, लेकिन अभी नहीं हुआ है, देखते हैं. और इसी के साथ सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत बस अब ये आने वाली है कि चूंकि टैक्स डिडक्शन होगा तो कंपनी विल हैव टू फेस हेवी कंप्लायंस बर्डन्स. और पॉइंट्स इसमें कुछ हमें नोट करना होगा कि ऑल्दो डिविडेंड 115(o) इज एबॉलिश, पर if dividend is declared, it is suggested in our proposed amendment, if dividend is declared before 31st March 2020, then even though it is received after 31st March, section 115(o) may be applied on it, and it will not be taxable in the hands of the receiver up to rupees 10 lakhs. तो थोड़ा सा ये अगर डिक्लेयर हो गया है मार्च तक, कंपनीज शुड डू, कोरोना वीड का भी फायदा ले सकते हैं, तो कोविड का भी फायदा ले सकते हैं, और ये हमारा अभी भी हमको बेनिफिट इस साल में मिल जाएगा इफ इट इज रिसीव्ड ऑल्दो आफ्टर 31st March. नाउ डिडक्शन अलाउड. अब तक तो चूंकि एग्जेम्प्ट था तो डिडक्शन नहीं अलाउ होते थे, पर नाउ if one has borrowed any amount to invest in shares and paid interest on same, then deduction would be allowed for interest paid, and but it is restricted to 20% of dividend income. So again, one more insertion is there by Finance Bill 2020, that section 80M. Again, to remove the cascading effect with a change that set off will be allowed only for dividend distributed by the company 1 month prior to due date of filing of returns. यहाँ companies को ये benefit है कि अगर उनको dividend income होती है and अगर वो pay भी करते हैं तो netting facility है, provided they pay it before 1 month of due date of filing of the returns. So these were some amendments in dividend income, which I took in detail, I think. Now coming to another head, which is chargeable in section 56(2) is winning from lotteries, crossword puzzles, horse races, card games, etc. Although winnings from lotteries, etc. is part of total income of the SSE, such income is taxable at a special rate of income tax, which is at present 30% plus cess, with threshold limit of rupees 10,000. तो इसमें कुछ फीचर्स हैं, क्योंकि ये थोड़ा अलग तरीके से ट्रीट होता है, तो इसीलिए इसको हम इस पे थोड़ा डिस्कस करेंगे. एंड डिडक्शन ऑफ एनी एक्सपेंसेस, अलाउंसेस और लॉस नॉट अलाउड फ्रॉम सच विनिंग्स. Also, deduction under section 80C2U on deductions from gross total income will not be available in this case. A lottery income is taxed at flat rates. That's why any basic exemption of income is also not available to the SSE. Friends, इसमें कुछ नहीं, 80CU कुछ नहीं मिलना है, और अगर आपकी इनकम चाहे ही सालाना 50,000 हो, बिलो टैक्सेबल हो, कुछ भी नहीं हो, then also you are liable to pay tax at the rate of 30% plus cess, जो कि TDS के रूप में कट के ही मिलता है. हालांकि then you have to be careful in taking in your computation that it has been grossed up properly. So little care. Many times accountants make entry on net basis. Now, another head we shall take it little. Interest on security taxable under income from other source. Interest on security means interest on bonds, debentures, etc. issued by companies, central government, state government, or local authorities. Here, friends, income by of interest on security is chargeable under this head if such income is not chargeable to income tax under the head profit and gains of business or profession. जो मैंने शुरू में ही केस लॉ एक लिया था उसमें भी कुछ ऐसा ही था, तो वहां पे प्रॉफिट एंड गेन्स में वो गया, फ्रॉम बिजनेस एंड प्रोफेशन में गया, पर अदरवाइज इट इज टैक्सेबल अंडर इनकम फ्रॉम अदर सोर्सेज इफ नॉट ऑल्सो. इसमें चार्जेबिलिटी ऑफ इंटरेस्ट एक इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है. इट इज चार्जेबल टू टैक्स ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ मेथड ऑफ अकाउंटिंग अडॉप्टेड बाय द एसएससी. अगर आपने कैश बेसिस अडॉप्ट किया है देन इट विल बी टैक्सेबल एज ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ रिसिप्ट ऑफ सच इंटरेस्ट. और अगर आपने अक्रूवल और मर्केंटाइल बेसिस बुक्स बना रहे हैं तो इट विल बी ओनली टैक्सेबल ऑन ड्यू डेट्स ऑल्दो यू आर नॉट रिसीविंग द इंटरेस्ट. तो ये थोड़ा सा इसमें एक एडवांटेज ले सकते हैं. और इसमें डिडक्शंस अलाउएबल इज कलेक्शन चार्जेस. ये सारे डिडक्शन अंडर 57 में है जो मैं along with सारे हेड्स लेती जा रही हूँ. कलेक्शन चार्जेस, इंटरेस्ट ऑन लोन, एनी अदर एक्सपेंसेस नॉट बीइंग एक्सपेंडिचर ऑफ कैपिटल नेचर spended wholly and exclusively for the purpose of making such earnings will be permissible as deduction. Now let's come to another heading which is taxable is income from letting out of machinery, plant or furniture. Another income, it can be clubbed together. Income from composite letting of machinery, plant or furniture and buildings. If such building is not, letting of such building is not inseparable from letting of machinery, plant or furniture, then income from such letting is chargeable to income from other source. Now here, friends, many times it happens कि हम बहुत plant and machinery ले लेते हैं, heavy install कर देते हैं, but we are not in a position to start our business, so we let it out. तो क्या होता है, जो मशीनरी इंस्टॉल है वो उस प्रीमाइसेस के संग ही देनी पड़ती है. तो ऐसे केसेस को इसमें कवर किया गया है. यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा डिडक्शंस ज्यादा मिल रहे हैं, इसलिए आई वुड लाइक टू रीड इट. Deductions permissible from letting out machinery, plant or furniture and building. Here deductions allowed will be current repairs to the premises held otherwise than as tenant. Insurance premium against risk of damage or destruction, repairs on insurance on machineries, depreciation as calculated under section 32 plus depreciation मेरे ख्याल से brought forward depreciation भी यहाँ allowed होता है. और any expenditure incurred wholly to earn this income will be also liable to be deducted provided it is not of capital nature. अब आते हैं the most litigative area, that is share premium in excess of fair market value to be treated as income under section 56(2)(7)(b). When it is applicable, it has been started from assessment year 13-14. When it is applicable, when recipient is a company, not being a company in which the public are substantially interested, means private limited companies cover होनी ही है. It receives consideration for issue of shares. It can be preference share or equity shares from a resident person. The consideration issued for issue of shares exceed the face value of such shares. In other words, shares are issued at premium. Then any consideration for issue of shares which exceeds the fair market value of such shares, the aggregate consideration received for such shares as reduced by its fair market value shall be taxable under this head. यहाँ पे एक चीज नोट करना है जो मैंने ऊपर पॉइंट 3 लिया है. If such issue exceed the face value only, although it can be above the fair market value, but it will not come under this clause. For example, suppose आपने face value किसी शेयर की 10 रुपीज है और आपने इसको इश्यू किया 9 रुपीज पे, जबकि फेयर मार्केट वैल्यू क्या है उसकी 5 रुपए है. तो ऐसे केस में ये 4 रुपए का डिफरेंस अदरवाइज इट वुड हैव बीन टैक्सेबल, बट सिंस इट इज इश्यूड फॉर लेस देन फेस वैल्यू, तो दिस सेक्शन विल नॉट come in picture. Now, these applicable in the following cases. फ्रेंड्स, ये बहुत ही लिटिगेटिव हेड है, इसमें बहुत सारे केस लॉज और डिस्प्यूट्स अराइज हो चुके हैं अब तक, पर इट इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल टू फॉलोइंग्स वेयर shares received by a venture capital undertaking from a venture capital company, and where it is received by a startup company in respect of shares issued to a resident person. However, इसमें exemption इन दोनों को दिया, लेकिन however a startup company shall fulfill the conditions mentioned in notification number 127E dated 19/19 issued by the Department of Promotion of Industries and Internal Trade. यहाँ पे ये अगर कंडीशंस नहीं फॉलो करते हैं, कंप्लाई करते हैं, फेल्यूर टू दिस shall be deemed to be the income of the company chargeable to tax for the previous year in which such failure takes place. Further, it shall be deemed that the company has misappropriated the said amount, and consequently a penalty of an amount equal to 200% of tax payable on the underreported income would be leviable to such startups or this above mentioned venture capital undertaking. तो हम सबको इसमें बहुत केयरफुल रहना है. सारे स्टार्टअप्स का जमाना है, मोदी जी का जमाना है, वी आर प्रमोटिंग टू स्टार्टअप्स, लेकिन और स्टार्टअप्स आर अलाउड टू इश्यू एट शेयर प्रीमियम, लेकिन उनको बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट कंडीशन भी फॉलो करना है, अदरवाइज हैवी पेनल्टीज देयर. यहाँ अगेन लिटिगेशन क्या है जो अभी हम डिस्कस करेंगे. द फेयर मार्केट वैल्यू ऑफ शेयर शैल बी the higher of the value as may be determined in accordance with the method given in rule 11U and 11UA, or as may be substantiated by the company to the assessing officer. Assessing officer. इसके लिए थोड़ा सा हम एक जुडिशियल प्रोनाउंसमेंट को आई विल रीड इट फ्रेंड्स टू हैव द टू अंडरस्टैंड द हार्श प्रोविजन अंडर दिस एंड द extent of litigations which we are facing. The intent of the legislature in enacting the provision of this section was to discourage the practice adopted by the taxpayer of subscription to shares of closely held company at excessive and unjustifiable premium. Since its introduction, the interpretation of section 5627B has been a topic of numerous debate among the professionals and has arisen several controversies on this issue regarding the determination of fair market value. Even though we are giving as per rule 11 UA, the income tax act on the said issue, the method adopted for valuation by the SSE, the income tax department has not accepted, and several additions, disallowance has been made and raised huge liabilities on the SSE. And therefore there are several controversies has been arisen on higher judicial forum like ITAT, high courts and Supreme Courts. And then it is very interesting. Honorable Supreme Court in its latest judgment in case of Principal Commissioner of Income Tax versus NRA Iron and Steel Private Limited 2019-417-2 ITR 161 Supreme Court, the Honorable Supreme Court summarized this decision as follows. The practice of conversion of unaccounted money through clock of share capital premium must be subjected to careful scrutiny, especially in private placements of shares. Filing primary evidence is not sufficient. The onus to establish creditworthiness of the investor companies is on the SSE. The SSE is under the obligation to prove the receipt of share capital premium to the satisfaction of the AO, failure of which would justify addition of said amount to the income of the SSE. तो ले दे के हम बहुत लड़े इसमें अंडर दिस हेड शेयर प्रीमियम के लिए हमने बहुत लड़ाई की, हाई कोर्ट गए, ITAT गए, हाई कोर्ट गए, सुप्रीम कोर्ट गए, पर ले दे के फिर हम वहीं के वहीं आ गए टू द सेटिस्फेक्शन ऑफ असिस्टिंग ऑफिसर। और इस अब ये लगता है कि हम वी शुड मूव टुवर्ड्स विवाद से विश्वास, जो ज्यादा मेरे ख्याल से बेटर रास्ता होगा हम सबके लिए, उस पर विचार करने के लिए। तो फ्रेंड्स, हमको बहुत केयरफुल रहना है, क्योंकि शेयर प्रीमियम नो डाउट इट इज परमिटेड अंडर सर्टेन केसेस, बट वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट कंडीशंस आर देयर, and in other cases it is highly litigative, and I think we can give a pause to all litigation by moving towards vivad se vishwas. Now another income, that is interest on compensation or enhanced compensation, it is also taxable under this only. It will be taxable in this in the previous year in which such interest is received and not when it was declared. होता क्या है, इंटरेस्ट ऑन कंपनसेशन गवर्नमेंट का आप जानते हैं कि डिक्लेयर कर दिया, मान लीजिए आज, और ये मिलते मिलते हो सकता है 2 साल लग जाए, 3 साल लग जाए. That's why it has been made that it would be taxable in the year of receipt. और इसमें स्ट्रेट डिडक्शन इक्वल टू 50% ऑफ सच इनकम शैल बी अलाउड टू द एसएससी एंड नो डिडक्शन शैल बी अलाउड, क्योंकि इसमें खर्चे, अभी लिटिगेशन खर्चे इतने ज्यादा हैं दैट मे बी मोर देन 50%, लेकिन हमको मैक्सिमम इसमें 15% ही परमिट किया है एक्ट ने. तो इसमें इतना पॉइंट ध्यान देने की जरूरत है हमें. Another head is forfeiture of advance received for transfer of a capital asset to be taxed under the head income from other sources if such sum is forfeited and the negotiations do not result in transfer of such capital asset. कहीं कुछ हमने एडवांस ले लिया है और वो मटेरियलाइज नहीं हुआ, तो इट विल बी इनकम फ्रॉम अदर सोर्स. अब मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट, जिसपे फिर से हमें थोड़ा सा डिटेल में डिस्कशन करना होगा, और almost we all face transaction in our day-to-day files, that is income of any person to include not only gift of money from any persons but also the gift of property, whether movable or immovable, or property acquired for inadequate consideration with effect from 1819. Section 56(2)(7) has now become 56(2)(10). इसमें क्या होता है, यहाँ पे हम लोग इसको मैंने 3 पार्ट में डिवाइड किया है, रिसिप्ट ऑफ मनी और चेक ड्राफ्ट, रिसिप्ट ऑफ इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी, रिसिप्ट ऑफ मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी. अब कैटेगरी 1 लेते हैं हम. वेयर एनी पर्सन रिसीव्स इन एनी प्रीवियस ईयर फ्रॉम एनी पर्सन और पर्सन्स ऑन और आफ्टर 1/4/17 एनी सम ऑफ मनी इन कैश, चेक और ड्राफ्ट, in other words as gift, then कब ये taxable है? If aggregate amount of sum of money without consideration which exceeds rupees 50,000, the whole of such aggregate value will be chargeable to tax.
Jamna ji, we have last 4 minutes.
Sir, 5-6 minutes मुझे दीजिए प्लीज. बस ये लास्ट, हाँ लास्ट हेड ही है.
make it fast please.
हाँ, आई एम डूइंग इट. यहाँ पे जैसे हमको, मैं इंडिविजुअल हूँ, मुझे 2 लोगों ने गिफ्ट दिया ऑन माय बर्थडे, दैट इज 30,000 का, तो 60,000 होने पे वो फुल टैक्सेबल हो जाएगा 60,000. लेकिन अगर हमें 20,000 का मिला है तो नथिंग वुड बी टैक्सेबल. यहाँ एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज देखना है कि दो द प्रोविजन रिलेटिंग टू गिफ्ट अप्लाइज इन केस ऑफ एवरी पर्सन, बट इट हैज बीन रिपोर्टेड दैट गिफ्ट बाय a resident person to a non-resident are claimed to be non-taxable in India as the income does not accrue or arise in India. To ensure that such gifts made by resident to non-resident person are subjected to tax in India, Finance Act 2019 has inserted a new section, clause 8 under this section 9, to provide that any income arising outside India, being money paid without consideration on or after 5/7/2019 by a person resident in India to a non-resident person or a foreign company shall be deemed to accrue or arise. पहले ये नहीं था, बाहर पेमेंट मिलती थी तो, लेकिन अब ये टैक्सेबल हो गया है by deeming provision. अब Another is if immovable property received or transferred without consideration. The stamp duty value of such property if exceeds 50,000, then stamp duty will be chargeable to tax. यहाँ पे हर ट्रांजेक्शन को देखना होगा. जैसे मुझे दो प्रॉपर्टी मिली है, मान लीजिए दोनों की वैल्यू 50,000 से कम है स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वैल्यू, तो कुछ भी टैक्सेबल नहीं होगा. लेकिन अगर 50,000 मतलब हर प्रॉपर्टी के लिए हमें ये टेस्ट अप्लाई करना होगा, नॉट एग्रीगेट. एंड taxability in case of immovable property if received for consideration or inadequate consideration. तब सिनारियो क्या बनता है? From assessment year 1920, if immovable property is received for consideration and the transaction satisfy the following two conditions: stamp duty value exceeds 105% of consideration, the difference between the stamp duty value and consideration is more than 50,000. ये दोनों कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई होगी तो ही हम टैक्स लायबिलिटी में आते हैं, अदरवाइज नहीं. दोनों में से एक भी है तो नो, इट वोंट बी टैक्सेबल. तो और क्या टैक्सेबल होगा तब? डिफरेंस बिटवीन स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वैल्यू एंड कंसिडरेशन विल बी चार्जेबल टू टैक्स. हाउएवर दिस परसेंट इज नाउ इंक्रीज टू 10% फ्रॉम असेसमेंट ईयर 21-22 by the finance bill 2020. Again, movable property received without consideration, if aggregate fair market value exceeds 50,000, the whole aggregate fair market value of property is chargeable to tax. Or movable property received for consideration which is less than fair market value and if it exceeds rupees 50,000, that then the difference between aggregate fair market value and the consideration received is chargeable to tax. यहाँ पे फेयर मार्केट वैल्यू अगेन एज पर 11U एंड 11UA लेना है. यहाँ अभी इतने वो नहीं है डिस्प्यूट्स. और यहाँ प्रॉपर्टी मीन्स द फॉलोइंग कैपिटल एसेट ओनली हमको देखना है, दैट इज इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी बीइंग लैंड और बिल्डिंग और बोथ, शेयर्स एंड सिक्योरिटी, ज्वेलरी, आर्कियोलॉजिकल कलेक्शंस, ड्राइंग्स, पेंटिंग्स, स्कल्पचर्स, एनी वर्क ऑफ आर्ट और बुलियन. ये अगर नहीं है, इसमें कोई आपका कैपिटल एसेट नहीं आता, सपोज मुझे मोबाइल फोन कोई मुझे गिफ्ट में दे रहा है, दैट इज नॉट कमिंग इन दिस एंड इट विल नॉट बी चार्जेबल टू टैक्स एज इट इज नॉट ए कैपिटल एसेट. इवन रूरल एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड तो ऐसे भी नहीं है. यहाँ कुछ पॉइंट्स जरूरी है देखना कि सेक्शन 56(2)(10 इज नॉट अप्लीकेबल इन फॉलोइंग केसेस: when any sum of money or any property received from any relative. रिलेटिव का डेफिनेशन अभी मैं रिपीट करूंगी. ऑन द ओकेजन ऑफ मैरिज ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल, अंडर ए विल और बाय वे ऑफ इनहेरिटेंस, इन कंटेम्पलेशन ऑफ डेथ ऑफ द पेयर और डोनर, फॉर एनी लोकल अथॉरिटी, फ्रॉम एनी लोकल अथॉरिटी एज एक्सप्लेन्ड इन 1020, फ्रॉम एनी फंड और इंस्टीट्यूशन एज रेफर्ड इन सेक्शन 1023, फ्रॉम एनी ट्रस्ट or institution registered under section 12(12)(a), any by way of transaction not regarded as transfer under section 47 capital gain में जो सारा mention है. Money or property from an individual received by a trust created for established solely for the benefit of relative of the individual, from 1/4/17 it is allowed. सेक्शन 52 में एक थोड़ा सा और भी मैं बताना चाहूंगी कि इट इज एंटी एब्यूज प्रोविजंस इन केस ऑफ कंपनीज एक्ट 2013 प्रोवाइड दैट सब्जेक्ट टू सैंक्शन ऑफ एनसीएलटी का केस है, इसलिए थोड़ा सा इसको जानना जरूरी है. A company inter alia reduce its share capital by cancelling its share capital. In other words, in case of capital reduction, unlike a share buyback, the shares are not first received by the company and then cancelled. Instead, the shares stand cancelled operation of the order of the NCLT because of the order of the NCLT. The provision of section 56(2) should be applicable only in case where the receipt of shares become the property. Hence, tax liability under section 56(2)(10) would not arise. और थोड़ा सा रिलेटिव पे एक फास्ट नजर डाल लेते हैं. कोई भी इंडिविजुअल है तो उसकी स्पाउस, ब्रदर और सिस्टर ऑफ इंडिविजुअल, ब्रदर और सिस्टर ऑफ उसके स्पाउस, एंड ब्रदर एंड सिस्टर ऑफ आइदर ऑफ दैट इंडिविजुअल्स पेरेंट्स, जैसे उनके पेरेंट्स माता पिता है, उनके ब्रदर सिस्टर, any lineal ascendant or descendant of the individual and of the spouse and spouses of all mentioned above except point 1. So it is just you have a read look on it. And another point I have mentioned here is gifts received by HUF from its member and vice versa is treated as gift from relative and not taxable, as held in the case of Vinit Kumar Raghav Ji Bhai Bhalodia Ji versus ITO 2011 46 SOT 97. So, friend, another head which is, this was all about gifts. Another head which is taxable is compensation for employment. If it is, he is not continuing and any compensation is given to any employee, then it will be taxable under this head, income from other source. Some disallowances are there under section 58. They should not be of personal nature, interest, salary payable, and on which TDS is not deductible. Any payment, direct tax like income tax, wealth tax will not be allowed. Expenditure in respect of royalty and technical fee services by a foreign company would not be allowed. Expenditure in respect of winning from lottery is not allowed, except running for horse races का थोड़ा सा allowed है under section 58(4). वो हम लोग को देख लेना होगा 58(4) को ख्याल रखें. लास्ट जो सेक्शन है हमारे IO income from other source का is profit chargeable to tax under section 59. If any allowance and deduction has been made while computing income from other source in any year in respect of loss, expenditure, trading ability, but subsequently due to recovery of amount in cash or other manner some benefit arises, then it will be chargeable to इनकम टैक्स अंडर दिस हेड. फॉर एग्जांपल अभी जो हम लोग ने लेटिंग आउट का बताया था कि हमने लेट आउट किया है फर्नीचर एंड फिक्चर, पर कभी कभी क्या होता है कि उसमें कोई किसी थर्ड पार्टी की वजह से, कोई फॉल्ट की वजह से, या कोई भी अदर हेड में किसी फॉल्ट वजह से कोई हमें रिपेयर मेंटेनेंस या कोई खर्चा इनकर करना पड़ा 2 साल पहले, लेकिन हमने खर्चा किया, उसको क्लेम को हमने ले भी लिया डिडक्शन में, पर बाद में हमने जब फॉलो अप किया तो हमको उसके कुछ पैसे मिल गए. देन दो इन दैट केस इट विल बी टैक्सेबल. सच रिसीप्ट विल बी टैक्सेबल अंडर द हेड, under this section 59, under this head only. So thank you friends. I tried to sum it up fast because time constant is there, and I tried to bring important features what are there in income from other source. It is endless friends, especially section 22 E. I think we need a separate session for that. Rajesh ji, now I think Gia ji, hand over the session to you.
Thank you, Jamna ji.
Nice
It was a wonderful session, and I think one of the best sessions we had.
Gia ji, one thing for answering the query, please unmute our vice president.
We already
A.K. Srivastava ji and our Rajesh Mehta ji is there. We shall try to answer them.
Madam, you are also.
Thank you viewers again.
Okay, no cross talks. Okay, stop. Just stop. I will be taking over now. And thank you. We had a wonderful session from Mrs. Jamna Shukla, Chartered Accountant, Varanasi, on income from other sources. Friends, there is a limitation of time, and because of the punctuality of time, we are working hard. We don't want to extend the sessions, and that is the motto of this webinar. We start on time, we end on time. And even if some queries are left, we try to leave it and continue with the other sessions. Friends, we had seen that it was a wonderful session. Glimpse of all income from other sources, all controversial aspects covered, and all Supreme Court decisions referred by the learned speaker. So I think it is a big clapping, and you should send your claps through the chat mode or through the other modes, whatever you have. Send messages, send chat appreciation by the chat mode, and continue to join us every day 9:45 a.m. daily for a wonderful updation on the income tax, GST, and allied laws. I would now request our chairman, Ashok Saraf Saab, if he wants to say the concluding remarks now, or he wants to say it after the query session. Chairman sir.
उनका माइक अनम्यूट कर दिए सर, अशोक सराफ साहब.
मेरी तरफ से अनम्यूटेड है, उन्होंने लॉक कर रखा है. There is some problem. Okay, let us start with the query session directly. And what I will do is, on the request of the speaker, ma'am, I would be
AK Srivastava.
Mr. Rajesh Mehta would be answering the supporting or answering the queries also, and Mr. AK Srivastava. I am unmuting the mic of AK Srivastava sahab also. And Srivastava sahab, can you speak and check?
Yeah, I was on the chat, and in fact, I have to add one thing
Yeah.
about.
No addition now.
No.
Only
Sir,
and
sir.
only queries would be answered.
Yes.
Just
Sir.
one very small that in respect of the expenses allowable 20% is only in respect of other expenses. As far as interest is concerned, that will be allowed in entirety.
Okay. Now I am taking the query. CA Kalia Ashwani. Mr. Kalia Ashwani, are you there? Okay, move on. Narayan Murthy. Narayan Murli. Narayan Murli, are you there? Okay. Our regular query, Smith Saurabh.
Yes, sir.
You are 100% there, I am confident.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
And ma'am, thank you, Rajesh, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Ma'am, Jamna ma'am, and AK Srivastava, sir. Sir, in fact, we are much aggrieved as the assessing officer consider the composite rent as the land and building, composite rent of land and building with the plant monthly, which is inseparable as the rental income, instead of under the rental income, instead of income from other sources or PGBP, profit and gain from profit, business and profession. Would you please provide any strong basis or any case laws regarding this?
Okay, Smith ji, I haven't taken any case law in this regard. If Rajesh ji, you are ready with that.
Yes.
But I think it is allowable, sir. It is easily debatable. I have taken in my many cases. So if any case law is there with Rajesh ji, please update him.
We'll share the case law, Smith.
Or I will share it on your WhatsApp, sure.
There is a judgment of Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Sultan Brothers Private Limited versus CIT, 51 ITR 353. 51
ITR 350.
353.
51 ITR 353.
Okay, Mr. Naresh Maheshwari.
Yes, sir.
Mr.
Good
Naresh
morning.
Maheshwari. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Good
sir.
morning. Go on with the query.
Yes, sir. Sir, amount received by creditor given by official liquidator on liquidation of company term as dividend can be taxable or tax free before March 2020.
Let Mr. AK Srivastava answer it.
Okay.
You see, the amount received on liquidation is specifically covered under Section 56 itself. So it will be a dividend. It will be income from other sources.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Sandeep Kumar Tandon. No cross question, sir. Sorry. Mr. Sandeep Kumar Tandon. Mr. Sandeep Tandon, are you there? Okay. Mr. Dinesh Jain. Mr. Dinesh Jain, are you there?
Good morning, all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Go on, please.
My query is related to section 56(2)(10).
Rajesh Mehta, you will be answering this.
Yes.
कोई पर्सन किसी कंपनी प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी के शेयर परचेज करता है जिसमें इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी एज ए स्टॉक इन ट्रेड है, तो उसका जब एफएमवी कैलकुलेट करेंगे तो उसमें प्रॉपर्टी को मार्केट एफएमवी लेनी पड़ेगी प्रॉपर्टी की वैल्यू या बुक वैल्यू से हो जाएगा उसका काम?
स्टॉक इन ट्रेड की भी स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वैल्यू लेना पड़ेगी, जो फेयर मार्केट वैल्यू है। स्टैम्प ड्यूटी जो भी स्टॉक इन ट्रेड है उसकी भी फेयर मार्केट वैल्यू लेना होती है। एंड फेयर मार्केट वैल्यू इज द
प्रॉपर्टी को जो डिफाइन किया है नहीं सर, 56(2)(10) में जो प्रॉपर्टी डिफाइन की हुई है वो कैपिटल असेट्स है, उसको रेफर किया हुआ है सबसेक्शन 7। सबसेक्शन 7 में प्रॉपर्टी मींस कैपिटल असेट्स, तो अगर वो एज ए स्टॉक इन ट्रेड है तो भी इंक्लूड करें?
नहीं सर, रूल 11 UA के अंदर, रूल 11 UA के अंदर वहां डिफाइन किया उन्होंने, स्टॉक इन ट्रेड की भी अपने को स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वैल्यू लेना होगी, स्टॉक इन ट्रेड की स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वैल्यू लेना होगी।
Okay, Mr. Asit Chauhan.
Good morning, sir. My question is, a person wants
Madam,
to
you
give...
can answer this.
Yes.
रसिक जी बोलिए. रसिक चौहान, आर यू देयर?
Under the
रसिक जी नहीं सुनाई दे रहा है. Please repeat.
ma'am, my question is, a person want to gift 50 lakh rupees to married daughter.
Yes.
What is the consequences?
किसको मिला है? अगर हम डॉटर के
नहीं,
फाइल में लेंगे.
अपनी मैरिड, हाँ, डॉटर
नहीं.
को देना चाहता है, मैरिड डॉटर को 50 लाख रुपए.
फादर.
हाँ, फादर.
हाँ, इट इज टैक्स फ्री. गिफ्ट फ्रॉम रिलेटिव मैंने बताया, इट इज टैक्स फ्री.
Okay.
Srivastava sir, you want to add something?
No, it is exactly that.
Okay.
The gift, any amount of receipt from a relative would be exempt from tax.
Mr. Aman Devra.
Sir, my query is, my client is an owner of
Srivastava ji,
open
you will
land,
be answering this.
चलिए.
open land letting out as plinth. Plinth means जो government agencies लेती हैं grain procurement के लिए. His income may be chargeable to tax under the head income from other sources.
Yes, other sources.
And he has constructed a mobile tower on that land. Whether it will be taxable under the head and other sources, or what deduction shall be allowed?
You see, as far as mobile tower construction or mobile tower concerned, there are a number of orders of the tribunal where they held it that it is income from business, income from house property. They said that, in fact, those cases, those are the cases where on the rooftop, a tower was allowed to be constructed. So there, all those cases have been treated as income from house property. But in such a case where it is a pure usage of land only, then it will be income from other sources.
Okay. Mr. Ishan Malhotra, sir, no cross question, sir, no cross question.
Deduction पूछी थी ना मैंने.
नहीं, deduction for what?
Expenses allowable.
Expenses allowable. If it is income from other sources, it will be allowed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now Mr. Ishan Malhotra, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, Rajesh Mehta ji, you will be answering this query.
Yes, sir.
So one of my assessee had taken a loan from a banking and approximately of rupees 5 crores. Yeah. And he had mortgaged his property. The property cost was approximately 2.5 crores. Yeah. And he couldn't repay the loan. The bank had auctioned the property and recovered their loan of rupees approximately 5 crores. Now, sir, the question is that will the remaining amount of 2.5 crores will be taxable in the hands of the assessee or not? And will it be taken as the other source of income?
So this is a capital receipt, and the amount has been received by him towards auction of his property.
Yes, sir.
So this will be an amount to long-term capital gain. This is not his income from other sources.
Okay, so that means whatever the amount taken by the banking financials, that won't be charged at any cost, even into the head capital gains to the assessee, right, sir?
No, that will be covered because his property of 2.5 crore has been sold by the bank for rupees 5 crore. 2.5
yes, sir.
यार वन थिंग आई वुड लाइक टू ऐड कि आपको उसमें देखना होगा कि अब वो कैपिटल गेन का पार्ट है ये, तो उसमें स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वैल्यू ये सब जो रूल्स है जो मैंने बताया, दोनों कंडीशंस अगर सेटिस्फाई होती है देन ओनली विल बी टैक्सेबल.
Okay, that you told about.
Okay, Ishanji, one thing is clear, that tax would be leviable either under capital gain or income from other sources, but most probably under capital gain. So that is the short answer to that your query. Mr. Amrit Singh Malhotra, ma'am, you would be taking this query. Mr.
Yes,
Amrit Singh Malhotra, sir, you are a regular one. Thank you for coming regularly. Please go with the query.
Sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Sir, my query is it necessary to declare interest income on an FDR on accrual basis yearly or when actual received in a year of FDR maturity?
सर इंटरेस्ट रिसीव्ड ये एफडी की बात आप कर रहे हैं ना?
यस यस
सर ये मेरे हिसाब से आपको ये अक्रूअल बेसिस पे टैक्सेबल हो जाता है. राजेश जी, एम आई राइट? क्योंकि वो
Interest
इंटरेस्ट ऑन
on
सिक्योरिटीज
FDR.
इज डिफरेंट थिंग. हाँ,
Interest on FDR always have to be shown only on the accrual basis, never on receipt basis.
यस. इसमें दो चीज, थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन ये होता है ना कि इंटरेस्ट इनकम में एक एफडी होता है और लोन्स पे होता है, जो 56(1) में मैंने इंक्लूड किया, और एक 56(2) वाला है इंटरेस्ट ऑन
The
सिक्योरिटी.
query is answered, ma'am.
तो
It is on
वो,
accrual basis.
हाँ, तो वो
So we
डिफरेंशिएट
don't have
करके.
to go. We have
Yeah.
lot of queries. Please be short.
Sure,
Please
sure.
be short. Prasoon Bhavalkar. Srivastav ji, you will be taking this query. Prasoon Bhavalkar.
Sir, it is relating to rental of terrace for mobile tower.
I've already answered this query. Has already been answered. That rent received in when you let out the terrace, it is income from house property.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Now Mukesh Kuryal. Again, Srivastav ji, you take this query.
Sir, my question is, do the provisions of section 56(2)(7) apply on transfer of lease or tenancy rights of a land or building?
Yeah, tenancy right. In fact, this is what has been the major issue, that people have been arguing that it is not. It is only a lease. But look at the true nature of the transaction. The true nature is that okay, it is. And what our past president said, that look, the Supreme Court very recently is coming down very heavily on the real intent of the legislation. So if we try to bypass the legislation by some circuitous means, probably it will not be held. One won't succeed now.
Okay. Mr. Jayesh, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Rajesh ji, you will be taking the query.
Yes.
Yes, sir, I am here.
Yes,
Are
sir,
you
go on.
heard my voice?
Yes, yes, go on,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah. My one client has regularly his income tax returns, but unfortunately, during the accounting year 15-16, his income tax return is not. Now CPC has raised the query. Then we have to file this return or not to file?
Sir, your voice is broken.
Can you repeat the query?
In fact, if the query, can I answer this?
Yes, yes, go on, please.
It seems for 1 year return has not been filed.
Yeah.
CPC might have raised a query to inquiring whether return has been filed or not. But unless and until there is there's a notice of the time, now the time limit for filing the return is over. So the only alternative would be that he let him get a 148 notice and then file the return.
Okay.
Okay, then I have to file.
No.
it is
Now, Mr. Prabhu Dodamani.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Go on, please.
Sir, TDS has been made on a accumulated provident fund withdrawal.
Rajesh ji, you will be answering.
Yes.
Can I repeat again, sir?
Yes, please go
on. TDS has been made on a accumulated provident fund withdrawal under section 192A by Regional Provident Fund Commissioner.
Yes.
Can it be treated as income from other sources?
Yes, the provident fund has to be, if he has been in employment for more than 5 years, then the any amount withdrawn from the provident fund is not liable to tax. So even if it is an exempted income, and TDS will be refunded.
Okay, sir. Rajesh, here I would like to add. You see, there is specific rule in fourth schedule, Rule 8, which governs this particular deduction, withdrawal of for PF balance. If it is less than 5 years, it becomes taxable, and as per the rule, it has to appropriate back to the years of in which contribution was made. But it is to be taxed only as income from salary.
Okay. Okay, no cross questions, Prabhuji. Now I would be opening for Mr. Siddharth Goyal. Siddharth Goyal, are you there? Siddharth ji.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Siddharth ji is again a very regular one. Always there and sending me photos, and I am grateful and thankful to it. Yes, Siddharth ji, please go on.
My query is with reference to the preference shares, whether the valuation rules will applicable for reference to section 57(6)(7)(b. And another query is, in case we issue a equity shares on discount, that it means at par. FMB is less than the par value. Will there be any implication under section 56? There are two questions.
Srivastav ji, take it.
I think let Rajesh ji answer this.
Okay, Rajesh ji, take it.
Preference
Yes,
shares
sir.
is concerned, I will have to.
If any equity shares is issued less than face value, then section 56 subsection 2 clause 7b does not come into play, and so it will be outside that scope. And in case of the preference shares are covered under section 56 subsection 2 clause 7b.
Yeah, that has to be valued according to 11 UA. Yes.
Okay, Mr. Ravi Shankar AY. Ravi Shankar
Preference
AY.
share.
Ravi Shankar AY, are you there?
Yes, sir. Sir, my client has taken has given plant and machinery and building on rent. The tenant has deducted TDS under section 194I. But now you say that the plant and machinery rent received has to be taxable under other sources. But TDS has been made under section 194I. In 26 years, it will come and sit as rental income. So how should my client file the return claiming the deductions under income from house property?
You will have to take the income to the income from other sources only, and you may request your deductor to rectify his TDS statement. So he will take it under section 194. Under section 194, I also the rent for plant and machinery is also covered under section 194I. So you may take it only to income from other sources, not from house property.
CA Satish Shukla, ma'am, you will be answering this query. CA Satish Shukla.
हेलो
हाँ सतीश जी
सर नमस्कार सर मैडम मेरा क्वेरी इसमें है इंटरेस्ट ऑन अगर कोई अनसिक्योर्ड लोन लेता है और फिर वो एडवांस दे देता है किसी को तो नेट इंटरेस्ट की इनकम को आईटीआर में शो करना चाहिए या हमको दोनों दिखाना पड़ेगा इंटरेस्ट पेड माइनस लोन दोनों
सर हमेशा आप ग्रॉस पे ही चलना होता है इनकम टैक्स में एक थंब रूल है कि ग्रॉस पे हमें चलना चाहिए
अच्छा मैडम मेरे को एचयूएफ और मेंबर के बीच का भी आपको टैक्सेबिलिटी बता सकते हैं एक बार फिर से कि अगर एचयूएफ से मेंबर को जो गिफ्ट मिलता है या मेंबर से एचयूएफ को तो टैक्सेबिलिटी क्या थी
जी मैंने एक केस दिया है आप मैं पीपीटी अभी शेयर करूंगी नाउ बाय वर्च्यू ऑफ वन जजमेंट इन दैट जजमेंट मुझे अभी याद नहीं आ रहा है उसमें ये अलाउड है इट विल बी ट्रीटेड एज गिफ्ट फ्रॉम रिलेटिव्स इन बोथ द केसेस वाइस वर्सा चाहे मेंबर एचयूएफ को दे या एचयूएफ मेंबर को दे
ओके Thank you.
Friends,
to remind you all, please log on tomorrow 9:45 a.m. Secondly, some of the people have logged on with their mobile name, Vivo 1915, one is with Dell, and because of their names not available, I am not able to take their queries. So please come and log in with your name. That would be a great thing for all of us. And now I am unmuting Mr. Padmanabh Singh Dave from Odisha. Padmanabh Singh Dave, are you there?
सर नमस्कार प्रणाम जय जगन्नाथ सबको
जय जगन्नाथ बोलिएगा
सर ये मेरा क्वेरी इज रिगार्ड टू एमपी एमएलए सैलरीज इनकम फ्रॉम अदर सोर्सेज whether the expenditure is restricted under section 57 up to 50% or we can claim more
नहीं सर इसमें मेरे ख्याल से एक्सपेंडिचर आपको नहीं मिलना है राजेश जी कोई ऐसा स्टैंडर्ड डिडक्शन भी नहीं है
There are only some of the expenses which are either reimbursement, then reimbursement type nature expenses are allowable, and some of the expenses are specifically exempt under section 10. Those are only allowable, and otherwise.
Okay. May I add in this? There is a very old board circular which allowed certain allowances received by the MP MLAs to be exempt from tax.
Yeah.
It's a very fairly old circular.
To the extent it is spended, और बैलेंस बचा हुआ taxable हो जाएगा.
That in any case to the extent spent.
Yes, balance will be taxable.
Practically everyone claimed the entire amount as exempt.
Yes.
Renuka Prasad, Srivastav ji, you will be taking this query. Renuka Prasad, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Go on.
Sir, interest, sir.
You have to speak loudly.
Sir, interest paid on borrowings, and
Right.
that borrowings has been invested in business income, and we have earned the interest on that business. Whether that interest on borrowed is allowable under
You see, when there is a direct link of borrowing and letting, then it is allowable.
Okay. Thank you.
Shikhar Sehgal.
Hello.
Shikhar Sehgal, are you there? Shikhar Sehgal. I think we had lost him. Mr. Vivek Bhargav.
Yes, sir. Am I
Yes,
audible?
sir. Rajesh ji, you have to answer it. Yes, you are audible. Go on.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन इक्विटी शेयर्स इशू के बारे में है जो प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी कर रही है, तो उसमें उसको एक वैल्यूएशन रिपोर्ट बनवानी होती है अपने प्रीमियम को जस्टिफाई करने के लिए।
Yes, yes.
वो वैल्यूएशन रिपोर्ट में वैल्यूएशन डेट क्या ली जाए और वो वैल्यूएशन रिपोर्ट किससे कौन इशू करने
एज ऑन डेट ऑफ इशू ऑफ द शेयर की वैल्यूएशन रिपोर्ट बनती है। आजकल ईयर एंड की रिपोर्ट नहीं बनती। अर्लियर देयर वाज एट द ईयर एंड, so as on date of issue of share you have to get the report, and as per rule 11 UA and UAA there have been earlier the chartered accountants were covered, but now chartered accountants are not covered and other agencies are covered, so from you will have to obtain valuation report from them.
Kamal Khemuka. Kamal Khemuka, are you there?
Yes.
Sir, madam, you will be taking this query.
Miscellaneous income deposited in bank offer for taxation as a gift. Is it correct?
Offer for taxation as a gift क्या मतलब है सर?
Miscellaneous income deposited in bank account.
हाँ वो आपका कैसा है? हाँ हाँ
कैश डिपॉजिट,
किसको दिया है आपने?
कैश डिपॉजिट करा दिया अपने बैंक अकाउंट में।
covered under section 68.
हाँ
68 and 115 BBE में टैक्स लगेगा उस पे। So nowadays it is not allowable to deposit such any miscellaneous income for which you cannot prove any source. So it will be covered under section 68.
Source to be proved, yes.
Okay, then we go to Mr. Dilip Lohia. Srivastav ji, you will be taking it. Mr. Dilip Lohia. Are you there, Mr. Dilip? Yes. Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Go on.
Sir, partner received a property. Hello.
Yes, yes. Go on, please. Go on.
Sir, partner received a property in family settlement, but there is no document is registered.
Registration of document is not necessary for a family settlement.
No, sir, but document is registered for property. Lekin for family settlement, there is no document.
You see, there must be, even if at a family settlement can be oral even. It is subsequently to be established that there was a family settlement with the confirmation from all other family members.
So whether it is taxable in the hand of partners?
No, property is definitely registered whenever there is a family settlement. Family settlement can be even an oral family settlement.
It is not taxable. It is not taxable in the hands of the recipient. In the hands of partner, it is not taxable because it is family settlement.
Mr. Sumit Gupta. Mr. Sumit Gupta, are you there?
Yes, sir. My question has been resolved.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Dinesh Dwivedi. Mr. Dinesh Dwivedi, are you there? Yes, sir. Go on. You have to unmute your mic. Yes.
Yes, yes. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Go on.
Sir, I have one clarificatory some explanation. Suppose one person of age of more than 18 years is getting married and he received small gifts and accumulated to more than ₹5 lakhs. Then whether it will be taxable under income from other sources and what?
He will have to prove the source of these receipts, otherwise it will be covered under section 68 and liable to tax.
Marriage gifts, less than
100
are the marriage gifts.
It is the marriage of self.
Marriage gifts are 100% exempted, even if it is small, even if it is big. If it is marriage gift, it is fully exempt.
Okay.
Fully exempt without any limit.
Without any limit.
I would just like to add here that whether it is his own marriage or the marriage of his children, that will make a difference.
Yeah, own
marriage. The marriage
only.
of a children, that it will be, and gift received from the parents or shagun received by parents will be taxable.
Will be taxable, exactly.
The person who's getting married, that gift received by him is exempt.
Yes.
Shiv Mangal Singh Chauhan. Last two queries now. Shiv Mangal Singh Chauhan. Are you there? Okay. So we have Mr. Rishabh.
Yes.
Yes, go on. Yes, go on, please.
कोई इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी है और वो हमने जो हम उसके ओनर नहीं है, इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी वापस आगे रेंट पे देते हैं, तो वो किस में आएगा?
This is sub-tenancy. This is sub-tenancy. So it is income from other sources.
Any expenditure allowed?
Expenditure, if any expenses has been incurred exclusively to earn this income, then it is allowed.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chinnaswamy Saudagar.
Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Actually, one of my client has let out the property to the educational institution.
Srivastavji, you will be answering it.
Where they are paying the rent, and also they are reimbursing their security salary, which we are showing as as income of, and they are directing TTS also under section 184C. We are netting of both income and expenses, and we are showing is other sources of income. Is it correct, or we got to show it?
Correct.
Okay. Then we have Shikhar Sehgal. Shikhar Sehgal ji, you are there?
Yes, I am here. My question is, suppose we are getting a gift or we are giving any gift in income tax act, is it mandatory to have a gift deed, or is only the bank transaction sufficient to prove it?
Ma'am, you have to answer it.
It will always be better to have gift deed.
Okay.
Mahendra Chandalia.
सर पंकज जी नमस्ते।
नमस्कार चंडालिया जी, बोलिए।
हाँ सर, एक तो धन्यवाद, आपने जो स्कूल लगाया पूरे जीवन में याद रहेगा, बहुत ही शानदार रहा, मतलब ये अनुभव।
चलो आपने मुझे हेडमास्टर बना दिया, थैंक यू।
हाँ अरे सर, है आपकी भूमिका पूरी वही है। Sir, my question is, rent if building along with plant and machinery, TDS deducted by 194I, whether house property or other source में cover होगा ये?
It is other sources. 194I में other source का TDS is also covered under 194I, and it will be income from other source only, not because this is inseparable rent of land and building and plant and machinery.
Mr. V.S. Jayakumar.
If any compensation is received,
again, just to interrupt him, again a regular person, regular on our webinar series, I welcome Mr. Jayakumar. Yes.
If any compensation is awarded after this COVID-19 lockdown is lifted by one party to the other party due to act of God or force majeure, is it taxable at all? Number one. If it is not taxable, does it accrue on the lockdown announced on 22nd March, or accrues only when it is lifted?
Srivastavji.
Well, as far as accrual is concerned, first of all, it does not accrue on on the date the lockdown was announced. Well, frankly speaking, I'll not be able to answer your second part of the query, that is whether taxable at all or not in view of COVID. I think I have yet to go in detail in this. Probably
you can argue on our behalf.
I think
if this income has arisen only because of any business activity, then it is taxable. If it is any activity not in the nature of the trade, then it is not taxable. This is a personal receipt.
It's an act of God. Force majeure.
No, it is an
and governmental prohibition.
It is an act of God, but if it is only for the purpose of business or profession, then
and it's not opposed to public policy.
Then also, sir, if we are receiving as gift, then it will be tax-free, provided aggregate is not exceeding 50,000.
Okay, Mr. KK Singla from Patiala.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, my question is regarding interest on enhanced compensation on acquisition of land. Whether the interest will be treated as compensation itself or assessable under the head other sources as interest.
Interest is taxable under the head income from other sources, and 50% of the interest is allowable under section 58.
One interesting observation I'll make in this: is it a compulsory acquisition of land?
Sir, it is a compulsory acquisition.
Then there is a separate
under RFCT LAR. Then it is fully exempt. If the compulsory acquisition is under RFCT LAR Act 2013, then principal amount and interest both are fully
exempt.
Okay, thank you everybody. That is all. It is 11:30 and we are about to close the session. Friends, we had to excuse our chairman. He has to go into a hearing before the High Court on a video conferencing. So we are excluding the chairman. He has sent very good words, and thanks to the speaker, we have seen that daily, day in and day out, we are being joined by over 700 800 participants. Today also we went to 795, almost 800 participants. And it is because of your love, affection, and the choice of topics, the speakers, the chairman, and contribution of each and every person of AIFTP. Friends, we want that your love and affection continue to patronize us, continue to be here at 9:45 a.m. daily and listen to the best of the speakers, best of the chairmen, and get your query resolved directly by the experts. We are also answering the queries later on received by mail or on WhatsApp chat. We request you all that we had sent you a message. Please click on that message and you will be joined to our WhatsApp chat group so that we can continue to inform you about our forthcoming seminar. Friends, this series is continuing and we are getting much request from for further extension of the series, and we are trying to announce the third part of this series, and we had said that from 2nd also we would like to continue till 10th of May, but let's see the announcement of the lockdown today by the Prime Minister in the conference of the Chief Minister. I am grateful and obliged to the speaker of today's session, Mrs. Jamna Shukla, who has covered the topic of income from other sources in a lucid manner, in a manner which we could understand, in a manner with the judgments of the Honorable Supreme Court and the High Court, and answered the queries of each one of us. My special thanks to Mr. A.K. Srivastava, our National Vice President, North Zone, for taking the queries on our request and answering and adding to the queries and the answers. My special thanks to our National Vice President, Central Zone, the versatile Mr. Rajesh Mehta, who has been answering, who has been my pillar of strength from day one in organizing this webinar, giving suggestions. We are discussing, we are almost talking 20 times a day now. It is more than I was talking to my girlfriend in my younger age. Friends, with this, I thank you all. It is the time. Again, I would say good morning, India, because it is not still noon. So I would always say good morning, India, east, west, north, south, central. This is your love and affection. We are crossing 700, 800 participants. Continue to join us daily at 9:45 a.m. And thank you for being today with us. We'll be sharing the PPT in the webinar groups, in the chat boxes and other. And we are live streaming on YouTube today. We are live streaming on YouTube today, and we will be live streaming on YouTube daily henceforth. With this, thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good day. Have a good Monday. Enjoy the working from office or the lockdown, in the quarantine or whatever. Have a safe day. Take care of the family. Take care of yourself and enjoy the lockdown. Thank you. Thank you and bye-bye. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rajesh Mehta sir. Thank you, A.K. Srivastava sir, for your support.
Nice
You made me to learn a lot.
Very nice delivery.
Thank you, viewers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all. And with this, I am ending the meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.